Hello, everyone. I'm meteorologist Rochelle J. Want to get a check on your tropics, the Atlantic tropics for June 27th, 2024. We've got two areas that we're watching right now. Invest 94L is the yellow area, and Invest 95L is that red area that you're seeing out in the open Atlantic. Now, 94L does have a low chance for tropical development within the next 2 and 7 days, but 95L, however, for the 2-day forecast going out to early on Saturday afternoon, has a medium chance for tropical development. And in the next 7 days, it does have a high 80% chance, according to the National Hurricane Center. Here's a look at the infrared satellite on your Thursday afternoon. You see 94L swirling in the Caribbean Sea, and then we've got 95L. Almost looks like it's trying to get its act together, become a little bit more organized going into Thursday evening in the open Atlantic, just off to the east of some northern areas of South America. Here's that satellite imagery of 94L. You're seeing it's impacting areas like Honduras and Nicaragua right now on its western side. And then you do see there's a lot of area that it's just over open water, but we are seeing some of those land impacts from 94L out in Central America, as well as a few islands in the Caribbean dealing with some of those impacts as well. Now, as we look toward the ensembles of where this storm could go, it looks like it's going to continue over Central America, maybe moving over the Yucatan Peninsula and possibly into the Bay of Campeche, very similar areas to where we saw other storms move through, including Alberto. Not too long ago, earlier this month, we did have that tropical storm, and then another system that moved into some areas of eastern Mexico, bringing quite a lot of rain. And a little bit later in the video, we will take a look at some of those rain forecasts from 94L and wherever 95 may go. So let's look at 95L again. This is swirling over open water right now, so we're not seeing any land impacts just yet. However, it does look like this storm is going to move off to the west. And as it does, it may encounter a little bit of dry air, but we'll have to see how 95L will hold up against some dry air out in the Atlantic over the next couple of days. But moving off to the west-northwest at a decent pace. Now, there's pretty good agreement between the models as to where this system is going to be going. There is some spread once you head a little bit farther out from that initial time that the solution was sent out, which makes sense. We become a little bit more uncertain as the time goes farther and farther out from when this was initialized, but still moving likely over some areas of the southern Caribbean as we look toward maybe the weekend into early next week, and then we start to see that spreading out just a bit, so becoming more uncertain as to where the center of this storm will go. Now, as far as how strong 95L could be, it does look like, according to this, that we could see our second tropical storm. Almost said the first one. We had Alberto. I just mentioned that. But we could see tropical storm Beryl, if not by the weekend, during the weekend. You see, most of these outputs are bringing the storm into tropical storm strength within 48 hours. And then a lot of them are also bringing it into hurricane strength as we go between about 48 and 96 hours. So that's 2 to 4 days. So we're looking at Saturday into Monday. We could be talking about a strengthening tropical storm, maybe getting to hurricane strength. Now, some models want to make it a hurricane and others do keep it a bit on the weaker side. So this is, again, we'll have to see how things play out. But there is a possibility that we will have Beryl before June is over and before we start July on Monday. Now, as far as climatology, this is early for a possible first hurricane to form. Just going to highlight this really quickly. So on average, and we're looking at the average between 1991 and 2020, on average, you would expect that first named storm around June 20th. We've already had Alberto, so not too far off from that. But as far as the first hurricane, on average, we might expect that during the early to middle part of August. We haven't even started July yet, so this would be running ahead of schedule. And then for the second name system, you might expect that during the middle of July, but if we get Beryl before July even starts, that's about 2 weeks ahead of schedule for that second name system. So something else that we're going to have to watch for and see how 95L does play out over the next 2 to 4 days. We've got a little bit of some wind shear, decent amount of wind shear, actually, I should say. That's what we're looking at here. Anywhere you're seeing some of that yellow and some of those reds. That's just off to the north, very similar areas to where we have more of that dry air that we saw in the water vapor satellite image. And then there's also a little bit of some shear, so a change in wind direction and or speed as we go higher in the atmosphere. So we've got a little bit of that on the southern side of 95L as well. So let's talk about the rain that's going to be seen in areas of the Caribbean, Central America, and looking towards also some of those same regions where we did have very heavy rainfall move through eastern Mexico within the last couple of weeks. So as far as numbers go, this is the GFS model, the American model for rainfall, and this goes through Friday afternoon, July 5th. We've got an output of 5-6 plus inches through some of these Caribbean islands, maybe making its way to southern areas of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Now, this can and likely will change, but just know that we do have the possibility of some heavy rain for some of these Caribbean islands. And then also, you're seeing back off towards central Mexico, east central Mexico. These are the areas that we probably are watching for 94L's rainfall versus 95L. But you're seeing, once again, this particular output for 5-6, maybe 10 inches. Again, we'll see how things play out, but we have the possibility for some very similar, if not nearby regions to get very heavy rainfall to where we saw the heavy rainfall from Alberto and the storm that moved through not too long after that. And then as far as the European model, again, you're seeing this streak of heavier rain through some of those Caribbean islands. The placement has changed, but that's why I'm just saying, just know that the potential is there for some of these islands to see some very heavy rainfall. And as 94L moves, we're looking back off to the west, we've got some 5, 6, 7, 9-inch rainfall totals through Central America and then heading back towards some of those regions where they were very hard hit from the rainfall from Alberto. So we're keeping an eye on the rainfall, strengthening storm out in the middle of the Atlantic as it pushes closer to some of those Caribbean islands. So we're looking at maybe some areas like Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada. These areas could see some impacts from 95L as we go into the weekend. So just a heads up for that. But that's all I have for you today. It's Thursday, June 27th. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with a friend or loved one that may be interested in seeing what's going on out in the tropics. My name is meteorologist Rochelle J. Please feel free to follow or subscribe to my channel here. I definitely appreciate you watching. And if you're in the line of any of these storms, please stay safe and have a good weekend.